back to Day Planner. It's another busy week for the West Coast as a stormy pattern continues.
Very stormy today. The Northwest in particular seeing some rain, but mostly snow. Let's take you to Portland, Oregon, where conditions are fairly tranquil for right now. Ooh, does that look dark and ominous, though, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks like those clouds are moisture-laden and about ready to let go. And we do think we're going to see some snow there. Even though the temperature right now 42, it will be dropping tonight into tomorrow.
We're seeing those clouds over Seattle as well. Our own Chris Warren is live in Seattle right now. And Chris, from that view from Kerry Park, we've seen that on a lot of postcards of Seattle. But usually we see a lot of blue sky on those postcards. It's looking more and more like snow out there.
In fact, it looks more and more like we're going to see snow pretty soon. We're going to go ahead right now and zoom in a little bit closer. And it looks like we're watching the snow. You can see, if you see the white, it looks like the clouds go all the way down to the trees. But I think that is actually snow falling right now. The radar is showing that we're seeing some snow in the Tacoma area. That's that direction. Just up beyond that hill is where Seattle-Tacoma International Airport is. The SeaTac is halfway between Seattle and Tacoma. And we're starting to see this. We're starting to watch some of the snow coming over. So throughout the day, there's been preparations in the works as far as schools preemptively closing classes before even a flake has started flying in some areas, and also road crews out there doing what they can do to make things safe for when it's time for you to be out on the roads. And I spoke with Rick Sheridan with the Seattle Department of Transportation. He also says you have to do your part.
This is really the time when mass transit is your best option. So if you're thinking about traveling around the city of Seattle or this region, look at your transit options, check in with your transit provider, because they're the professionals. They can help you get there safely.
And another reminder, it's also your responsibility to shovel your walkway as well, because another point here in Seattle, typically these storms will come up, it'll snow in a hurry, and then it'll go away in a hurry as well. It might still take a couple of days because eventually that Arctic air will make it in, and it doesn't look like it's going to make it in until maybe later on tonight into tomorrow, so temperatures right around freezing throughout most of the night. However, if one of these snow bands coming over sets up with an Arctic boundary, we can see some pretty heavy showers, which could make for a pretty nasty evening commute. But so far, we are just seeing the hit and miss showers as far as the snow goes. That is what the radar has been showing, and we're now starting to see what I believe, Nick, in the distance, yeah, it really looks like snow. We can see it over to the other side a little bit earlier, but now it's really coming over, Nick. Just in the matter of minutes, we're watching it come over the hills. And, of course, we'll let you know when we see more flakes flying here in Seattle.
All right. Shouldn't be too long from the looks of things. Thanks so much, Chris Warren, live there in Seattle. Continuing to see the watches and warnings here. And actually, they're all winter storm warnings for the state of Washington, with the exception just of the south central portion. But that's a winter weather advisory where you, too, could see some snow, maybe an inch or two, up to 3 inches. Western Oregon and the Cascades under a winter storm warning. And look at the winter weather advisories that extend all the way down through the coastal range of Northern California and the Sierra Nevada, and much of Nevada also under that winter storm watch. So your turn is coming too, probably as we head into tomorrow and into Friday. We're going to see more of that snow a little farther toward the south. But right now, it's right up here into the northwest, and that's where we're seeing it. As you can see, Seattle, just to the south of you, there's that snow that Chris was talking about. It's toward the north up in Everett. It's back toward the west. We saw some heavy snowfall around the northern coastal regions, right down to sea level, and the snow continuing to fall here around the Cascades of Washington and Oregon. Over toward Spokane here along Interstate 90, we're seeing that snow coming down as well. So more ahead, and actually we're going to be under this cold scenario here for the next few days as this upper level trough really deepens. We're going to see the cold air moves southward into California, so expect to see the mountains around San Francisco get a good coating of snow, and maybe, just maybe, even down towards San Francisco, we might see some snow mixed in with the rain. But certainly around the North Bay Mountains, a winter storm watch already in effect. That could become a warning as we head into the next few hours. We're going to see probably 6 inches above 2,500 feet there. Jeff?
All right, well, it's the energy from that storm that Nick was just talking about. It'll pretty much around the base of the trough and head out into the plains eventually. So let's talk about the severe weather threat and flooding threat potentially that we may be looking at. So where is the system right now? I'm going to circle it there. That's the little energy that we're talking about. It will eventually move east tonight and tomorrow out into the plains, tap into some of this Gulf moisture coming up from the south. And what do you end up with? This area right here, most likely getting the heavy rain. I'm going to put the caution symbol on there. That's where we could see some flooding, particularly as you head up into some areas that get a little bit more in the way of some snow, and then you get rain on top of it. That could cause the flooding. So here it is again, all graphically put together. There's our low, gently moving eastbound as we head on through late tonight and tomorrow. The severe weather threat area where you see all this red from Memphis down to Dallas, Little Rock, and even down to Shreveport, Louisiana. And then from Thursday night into Friday, it all runs to the East Coast, although we lose the severe weather threat. Nick?
Well, coming up, a full report from New Zealand for the very latest on the deadly earthquake there.
That moment of connection and relief was just palpable. She obviously needs to go for some immediate medical attention because she's been in there for 24 hours.
One miraculous rescue on one of Christchurch's darkest days. Amazing stories of survival emerge. And how will weather impact this evening's commute? Here's a hint. Get off the roads in Seattle and Portland. Travel forecast coming up.
All right, everyone, we're live in 60.
The dreaded first sneeze, that crucial moment when you're left with a choice. Shorten your cold or suffer through it. At the first sign, get rid of your cold faster with Zicam.
Clean it up. Sanitize items you touch frequently to reduce your risk at catching a cold. At the first sign, get rid of your cold faster with Zicam.
Close enough just isn't good enough. If your car is in an accident, make sure it's repaired with the right replacement parts. Take the scary out of life with Travelers. Call or click now for an agent or quote.
We began with a sports car. And ended with one. Introducing the TSX Sport Wagon from Acura.
Weatherman. Good morning, everybody. The weather team.
We have breaking news for you this morning.
This is not a joke, people. It is going to get brutally cold.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 11 Eastern. A lot of weather.
Here's all the rain.
So a lot of action across the country.
A big problem.
Cancellations across the board.
And a little fun.
Frosty mini wheats and milk. Let them sit there, eat them, and then smell a Band-Aid. Same thing, I swear.
And scene.
Wake up with Al and your weather today. Weekday mornings from 6 to 11 Eastern on the Weather Channel.
Weeknights 8, 7 Central. The Weather Channel. Primed for excitement. And now, your local on the 8s.
Rescuers in New Zealand are still searching through the rubble today as they're looking for more than 300 people believed still missing after the latest earthquake there in Christchurch. NBC's Sarah James has more from Littleton, New Zealand, about 10 miles outside Christchurch.
I'm here in Littleton, the tiny coastal village that was the epicenter of this massive 6.3 earthquake. The signs of the devastation right behind me. Nevertheless, as difficult as things are here, they are far worse in nearby Christchurch. The rescue effort there is underway, and indeed there was some hope today as some survivors were pulled from the rubble, and that really gave rescue workers the boost that they needed. Because the numbers are tough. 75 people confirmed dead. Another 300 people are missing. And so it is a harrowing time in Christchurch. Meantime, aftershocks continue to roll, some of them 4.5, 5.0. This makes things incredibly difficult for the rescue workers, and it also means that some buildings which are already cracked are in danger of collapse. The police commissioner warned today about a 26-story hotel which is in danger of falling down, sitting at a steep incline and sinking into its very foundations. The most important questions now are keeping people safe, keeping them out of the central business district, which is really like a ghost town, and also providing important materials. Obviously, people need water. 80% of the city is still without water. There are gas main ruptures. There are fires in certain areas. Roads are buckled. Traffic is very difficult to get around the city. So these are all the things that rescue workers and other personnel are paying attention to. And there's a scene that you don't see in a place like New Zealand, this quaint, beautiful island, and that's a military presence and a police presence everywhere there to make sure that people are safe and to keep people from the very dangerous areas. It is going to be some tough days ahead, but the people of Christchurch are resilient. Back to you.
Tough days ahead, no doubt about that. Well, we've got some tough hours ahead, it looks like, for travel here around the northwestern United States. Snow falling around the Puget Sound area in Seattle, toward the north, toward the south, toward the west and east. It's only a matter of a few minutes probably before we see more of that right there smack dab in Seattle. As a matter of fact, rain and snow being reported at the airport right now. We'll continue to see it up in the mountains. Snoqualmie Pass, Interstate 90. Chains are required on all vehicles, and it's compact snow and ice situation there. We've got some snow here around the arrowhead of Minnesota right now. Minneapolis, you are in the clear. This is light kind of stuff, and maybe some freezing precipitation, some freezing drizzle perhaps mixed with snowfall here around the central portions of Wisconsin. Green Bay may get a taste of that. We got a taste of ice this morning around St. Louis, and a huge pile up there on Interstate 64. It's been cleared, but still a little bit more rain could plague you as temperatures are warmed up above the freezing mark. We're seeing rain that's moving toward Nashville right now. Also, some rain pushing through the northern areas of Alabama back toward Mississippi